Hello, Supercars in Seconds here. Today I get asked this question a lot, what's the difference between the Ferrari California and the California T with the addition of the two turbochargers? Let's take a look at the two cars. We have them here, a 2014 and a 2017. Both very pretty and actually the same size cars. But let's dive into it and see the differences. So looking at the two cars together, exactly the same size, both 179 inches, both 75 inches wide, both 52 inches high, both have a 20.6 gallon fuel tank, the same rotors, 15.2 inches here, 15.2 inches here on the brakes. This actually has a similar wheel, so I think they've upgraded this wheel to this newer one, whatever. I love the shields in the side, always a lovely Ferrari trait there, big enamel badge. Same on this car also. Headlights similar, they've stretched them out a little bit here. As you can see, those two little pairs of lights moving up there. It's just stretched out further and made narrower here. I think California T, well, because it was an evolution of the previous car. You can see the same little channel cut out of the body there that was in the earlier car and so on. Rather nice. Roof down, of course, is the way to go with this car. You can get people in the back. If they move the passenger seat forward, you can fit in. It's a bit tight there, of course. As you can see, it's more of a 2+2 because it is very vertical on the back there because of the way the clever top works. But let's show you how that top works. So a pretty fascinating ballet there as it's all moving around in different directions. Nice looking car now, very much sort of looks like the front engine Berlinettes from years ago, but of course the first front engined V8 in a Ferrari years ago, back when this car came out around 2010. I enjoy driving the car. It is a much more comfortable and luxurious Ferrari to drive than most of the other models. And that has its place. You're not always trying to go track driving in a 488 sideways, you know. So now we got the roofs up, and now the roof is up. They definitely seem like a closer design to each other, particularly here. If you look right there, and that little window, you know, it's a very similar shape there. It is. Again, same dual clutch in both, in the transmission, which is a great transmission in this car. And we'll come back to that now on the drives. So starting with California here, beautiful red head on the engine there, a 4.3 8-cylinder engine, the V8 engine, of course, driving the rear wheels, producing 483 horsepower and 372 pounds of torque. So moving across to California T now, of course, the forced induction into the engine there of a 3.9, a smaller engine than the previous one, but a lot more, in particular, torque. 553 horsepower, but 557 pounds of torque now. All right, so let's climb in. The beautiful red key, of course, really fun. Simple operation on the back, just an unlock, a lock, and a trunk. That's all it is. Actually, as this top is up, let's take a look at the trunk. And it is similar in both cars, frankly. Big section opens up. We've got a windshield protector there. Then that, of course, has to be down before you can put the convertible top down. But it pops out of place, and then you can fit a nice bit of storage in the rear of the car. To close it down, you do have to pull back on here, but I am going to put that back down and close him away. I love the individual letters here. A very traditional and, frankly, very beautiful Ferrari feature. So sitting in the driver's seat of the original California here, the 2014, I love the yellow tack, of course, going up, showing 10,000 RPM with a red line around 8,000. Very impressive. I like this little left display. That can be changed to show all sorts of information over there. You have your Manatino here with a Comfort Sport and an ESC off mode. Your screen here, reverse is down there, and automatic is here. So, of course, you'll pull the paddle, which will then go into first gear. And if I go into reverse by pushing that, it then shows you your parking sensors, backup camera, and so on. I love the white stitching on the black leather and the California lettering in front of the dash there. Very nice. Both of these cars actually have what's called the Daytona seat, that strapping across there, going back to the Daytona cars back in the 70s. Super cool look. Embroidered prancing horse there up in the headrest. Let's take a look at the other car. Very interesting sitting in them back to back. A similar, bit more modern wheel here, and just frankly a bit easier to read. The addition in this car, of course, is they've added now the turn signals on the steering wheel and the windshield wipers on the steering wheel, up and down, side to side, and so on. Headlights over here. It's again, I'm sure back as a reference to Formula One to have everything on the wheel, like the guys have all those buttons on the wheel. It's just a nice addition. It's actually very easy to use. The turn signals, just click and they come right on. Also a yellow tack again. Similar air conditioning controls look the same. The font has changed just a little bit. There's again similar idea in the center console here. The same button, frankly, to operate the convertible top. Screen's a little bit better resolution. On the passenger side there, now we have the addition of a T after the California. But you'll see also again that those Daytona slats, those bands across the seat, really make for a nice interior. The big thing with Ferrari interiors is their quality. The leather work, the smell of the leather, really gives a nice experience in the cars every time you get in, when you can tell you're in a Ferrari. Okay, startup procedure. The key does have to go in over here. Turn it, and then on the steering wheel, push, and she comes to life. So we're going to start both cars here at going into Batman's corner to save a bit of time. All right, let's get it into the manual mode and just hit it. This dual clutch is really good. The first dual clutch in a Ferrari, actually, back in, I think it was like 2008 or 2009. This was the first front-engined V8 Ferrari and the first Ferrari with a dual clutch. Good balance, good sound, of course. Let's try these big 15-inch brakes. Very straight, very stable braking. Excellent car. All right, we're charging down here very hard. Incredibly comfortable at super high speed there. Let's go down a gear into the hard right-hander. Again, a little bit of lean. Again, the transmission's really good. I am really interested to see what the power coming out of a corner is like as a difference from the natural aspiration here in the engine to the forced induction, the turbocharging in the other car. I love these big high fenders on the front here. Makes it feel like an older car. It does. It makes it feel like an old vintage Ferrari with the big high fenders, and I think that's a compliment to the experience in California. Right. So let's go down again. Now we're in the California T. Similar feel. It's so weird. They are very similar in their personalities. All right, let's go. Take it out of auto and hit it. Oh, jeez. Oh, man. Yeah, almost 200 pounds of torque more is very, very obvious. It's up on its toes more. Man, yeah. This is much, much more like a 488. Same brakes. Let's try them again. And yeah, a similar feel, same rotor, so a similar feel. It's remarkable how similar at 60 miles an hour the cars drive, just cruising. But anytime you do this, the nose just comes up and she just goes. Very, very different. The other one is so smooth, of course, so that's rather nice. And I think the front view is nicer on the earlier car because the hood is higher here to accommodate those turbochargers and the forced induction. But the front fenders on that other car seem to be higher up with a lower hood. It was just like a more vintage feel to the other car. So flying down here, I'm going to look up the statistics and I'll show the 0 to 150 time on each car now. Yeah, this thing is definitely up on its toes more and much more responsive car. Normally turbocharged cars aren't as responsive as a naturally aspirated car, but as you know, the turbo Ferraris are very, very responsive, and the spool time seems non-existent. So I hate to say it, but this is a lot more car. I think the California, if you're not going to ever drive it hard, it's probably a better buy because it's going to be 25 to 35,000 less. But if you can possibly stretch a bit more extra money, this gives you very much the supercar feel in its acceleration, as opposed to a super smooth, gliding Grand Tourer. So I just looked them up. 0 to 150 miles an hour is 23.9 seconds. Here it's 16.1. So that's what I was feeling out there, was that extra push from the turbochargers and all that extra torque. Well, thank you for watching. That's really been interesting to drive the two back to back, especially when you see the differences. I'll show you the two cars, but the California is generally people's often first dipping their toes into the exotic world, and you just can't go wrong. A car like this, around 140,000 bucks, is just so much car for that. For 30,000 more, you can have the T. Yes, if you can stretch a bit more money, it is much more the supercar experience. The extra torque, almost 200 pounds of torque, as I mentioned while I was out there, does give it that much more push, that rush of acceleration that this one again is just more of a Grand Tourer, but still some beautiful practicality. Put the trunk up, put storage in there, and use the car every day. This is a car that you can drive every day and have some fun. Please subscribe to the channel. Join us on this journey. We're having fun. Give me some comments down below. I'm enjoying reading the comments very much. I'll see you again very soon. Thank you.